Israel says it killed a Hezbollah commander after it launched dozens of new airstrikes into Lebanon Tuesday. Meanwhile, Hezbollah launched a round of missiles at Israeli military bases, but Israel says most were intercepted. This comes a day after Lebanese officials say more than 550 people were killed in Israeli strikes. Ukrainian authorities say at least 3 people were killed and more than 30 injured after a Russian strike. Guided bombs hit a high-rise apartment block and bakery in the city of Kharkiv. The northeastern city has been a regular target for Russia since the start of its war. Those conflicts overseas were among the topics President Biden addressed in his final speech to the United Nations General Assembly Tuesday. Biden said, quote, "Even from the horrors of war, there's a way forward." Zeke Miller joins us now for more on the UN General Assembly from Washington. He's a White House correspondent for the Associated Press. Zeke, President Biden reiterated his support for Ukraine in his address, and he and Vice President Harris are scheduled to meet with Volodymyr Zelensky Thursday. What can we expect from those meetings, as well as Zelensky's address Wednesday?
Biden's effort to organize the Western coalition to support Ukraine against Russia's invasion is an indelible part of his legacy. We'll hear that time and again. We heard it from President Biden. We'll hear it going into that meeting on Thursday. But so much of that story remains to be written, and it's largely dependent on the outcome of the election in November. And that's sort of what we heard a little bit from President Biden before the UN, and we'll probably likely hear more of that on Thursday, that American support for Ukraine will never abate and will never subside, except it really is in some ways at stake in the election. There are 2 different visions for American foreign policy at stake here, and particularly when it comes to Ukraine. Ukrainian President Zelensky is obviously going to try to make the case publicly to the American people, like he has in every U.S. visit he has made, why it's important for that support to continue. One of the things that my colleagues report is that he tried to arrange a meeting with former President Donald Trump, and a campaign official told one of my colleagues that meeting is not going to happen. But really, it is an opportunity for President Biden to do a little bit of legacy building here. But at the same time, so much of that legacy will be determined in November.
Will that legacy also be determined on whether a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is achieved?
It's certainly, a challenge for President Biden, as he's tried to argue that, domestically, that the world is a better place than it was 4 years ago. And by a lot of metrics, it is. But when he's at the UN today, he's speaking at a world that is far more turbulent, far more chaotic than it was even a year ago when he last spoke, which was before the October 7th attack by Hamas on Israel. We heard some fairly strong language from President Biden calling for a ceasefire and a hostage deal like he has been. But White House officials and U.S. officials more broadly have been saying that they are running out of hope that this can be accomplished. The dynamics on the ground, the conditions for reaching a deal, which had seemed a lot more promising even just a few weeks ago, don't seem to be so rosy, so optimistic now. And now you have the expanded front on the north in Israel with Hezbollah and Lebanon. So it is a lot more turbulent. And that for President Biden is a real challenge as he tries to message to the American people and the world and to the history books, really, about the significance of his presidency. Some of these things were in his control, and some of these things weren't. But presidents are judged by how they handle crises, and he has to make the case that he handled it as well as he could.
Well, the president did strike an optimistic tone. You had UN General Assembly Secretary General Antonio Guterres really had a stark warning. Let's listen.
Geopolitical divisions keep deepening. The planet keeps heating. Wars rage with no clue how they will end. And nuclear posturing and new weapons cast a dark shadow. We are edging towards the unimaginable, a power keg that risks engulfing the world.
Does the rest of the UN share his concerns?
It's certainly something that we've heard from some of the other leaders who have spoken at the UN thus far, and those private conversations, diplomatic conversations. It's something that we've even heard from the U.S. government, from President Biden and others, that even with the expansive U.S. and Western coalition helping Ukraine, you've seen Russia, Iran, China draw closer together over the last several months and years. That is an element of what the Secretary General was talking about, though he took a slightly slightly more dispassionate view of that and sort of assessing the general global situation. There's a lot of speculation talk about a return to the Cold War. It's not the Cold War. It's a different sort of dynamic. But there is certainly this realignment on the global stage that's happening, a factionalization happening, and that poses a challenge for American leaders. And whoever replaces President Biden on January 20th will have to live in that new world and how to navigate that, just like all of those other world leaders who've been gathering in New York this week.
Zeke Miller, thank you.
Thank you.